Órale! Bienvenidos and welcome to the Familia FFB podcast. This is your host, Jorge Martin. Familia, it's week 4 of the NFL season. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Please make sure you're going to YouTube. Follow us. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Please set those notifications. Doing weekly shows right now, making sure you're getting ready for with some of the most fantasy relevant players for some of the best games of the season. And Familia, you know what? I'm just so glad to be joined by our buen amigo Tim Riley. I mean, Familia, you guys recognize him. He was there. He's a return guest, joining us last year. So, gosh, first off, muchas gracias for your service, mi amigo. Active duty with the Navy. Gracias for your service. Fellow girl dad, new girl dad. So I'm there may be a point that I have to like nudge him a little bit if he's falling asleep because he's got a newborn. But again, host of the Fantasy Frontline podcast. He writes for Dynasty Football Factory and the League Winners. We met last year, bonded at Scott Fishbowl LA Live Draft again this year, and had a little fun in Canton. Mi amigo Tim, gracias for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. You know, I love coming on. I had a blast last time, and I'm happy to be on again.
No, it's so cool, you know, and it's good. We could both revel in the Rams and commiserate a little bit because it's been they're better than expected, even if they are 1-2. So, but first off, you know, wanted to talk quick Scott Fishbowl update. I know you know, offline. Well, first off, how much fun was that draft a couple months back?
Oh, the draft was a blast. I had a great time as per usual. Trophy Smack, you know, they put on a great party.
They were fantastic. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic.
I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to Trophy Smack.
No, oh gosh, you know, Matt, Amiga Kelly, a really good amiga of the show. I mean, just everybody over there, just top notch. They put on a great. I didn't know that they could surpass what was last year, and they did. They absolutely did. So, you want to give us a quick update on how it's going so far?
Yeah, let's run through it. I did have a few drinks at the draft, so I wasn't quite myself. But you know, I'm sitting at 0-6 right now. Just not a good year for me. I tried to go a little tight end heavy. I took Mark Andrews and Kyle Pitts. I tried to round that off with Dulcich. He ended up going on the IR. So it just didn't quite work out in my favor. I got right now I'm rocking with Joe Burrow, Jahmyr Gibbs, Ramondre, Drake London, Hollywood Brown, Jahan Dotson, Andrews, Pitts, Roschon, Stafford, and it's like it seems like a pretty decent team. I just need a little bit more volume. I thought I was going to get more, and it's just not quite working out in my favor this year. But you know, that's all right because like it's a charity event. We're all having fun, and it's still a great time, and it's well worth it.
It is well worth it. And yeah, last year you gave me my first loss, so you know, we still have that. We still have that going for it. Well, somehow my team is 6-0, and I did not think I did not have. Well, I thought I had a great draft. Then Jonathan Taylor thing happened, but somehow I've been able to squeak out 3 wins and been over the median each time. So got lucky. Got a little lucky once where I thought Troy King was just absolutely destroying me, and then all of a sudden my team came back at the end. And thank you so much for Keenan Allen having a huge game last week. So yeah, that
was out.
Nice find. So Scott Fish, thank you. I mean, just thank you for making this happen, and hopefully we're able to help. So mi amigo, thought it'd be fun if we could go through about 5 games, just talking about the fantasy relevant players in each one. And I don't think there's any game that's more fun than Dolphins at Bills. And it's just, I mean, the Dolphins last week was just it was a Madden game.
Oh
it
yeah.
was a mad game. So like you're playing against, like you're in high school and you're playing against your 8-year-old little brother and just destroying him. 70-20, so many greats. But now it's kind of like a clash of the Titans. You got the Buffalo Bills, who are 2.5-point favorites even after the Dolphins put up 70 points last week. 53.5-point over under. Oh, one thing from me, that quick early look at weather on the East Coast, everything looks good right now, and it actually looks warm for being the first day of October. So you know what, in this game, obviously it's a better defense that the Dolphins are going to be facing, but I mean, are Tua and the gang just too unstoppable right now?
I don't want to say unstoppable. Like, obviously, they're the top offense in the NFL right now, and they've got a lot of weapons. But this Buffalo team is based around the defense. They can get to the quarterback. They got a pretty solid front four. And, like you said, I think it's going to be a great game. You said Buffalo's 2.5-point favorites.
Yep.
I think they cover.
You think the Bills cover?
Yeah, give me Buffalo by 3.
This I think you're right. I think this is going to be a field goal game. It could be like a 34-31 kind of game. I mean, I think if you've got players on either side, you're really starting. You're starting them all. I mean, gosh, Jalen Waddle is coming back, so he hasn't had a blow up game yet. But we've got Tua. Tua has just been absolutely lights out. He had the huge game last week. Twice he's been over 300 yards, and he's gotten 8 touchdowns in the games. I mean, Tyreek Hill, he is. I mean, gosh, 2 games over 100 yards, one of them over 200 yards. I mean, but this is definitely a better secondary. Tre'Davious White is really good. Do we think it's going to be, he's going to try and follow him, or he's going to stay to one side and it's going to be Waddle sometimes and Hill some other times? Do we can we look in the crystal ball on that one?
Yeah, I think both of these receivers are kind of going to go off. Tre'Davious White, like you said, is an excellent cornerback in the NFL. But I don't think they're going to have him follow anybody specifically. I think he'll stay to his side of the field, and they're going to try to create mismatches away from him, or they may just attack him directly with their best receiver in Tyreek Hill, and kind of just see what happens with that. For me, the big issue is whether or not Josh Allen can not turn the ball over.
Yes.
He's had some issues with that this year and his career, actually. And if he can stop himself from throwing an interception or a fumble on a sack, then this is probably going to be a high scoring game, probably 28 points apiece. Both defenses are good, but neither are great, in my opinion. I don't think the Bills can hold the Dolphins to under 28. There's just too much speed on that team.
No, you can't stop them. You can't stop them. Now, did you have the misfortune to have Devon Achane on benches in your rosters?
I had him on benches in 2 of my leagues, and it's like disappointing to see 40 points on the bench. There's really nothing worse than that.
I had one league where one of my buddies, I lost to him by like 30 points, and there he was, there he was with 40 plus points, and I'm just like, you're welcome. And then he sends me a little screenshot of an article that I wrote, and kind of saying, keep an eye on Devon Achane, and I just thought, oh, I'm dead right now. I'm dead. You just threw my words at me. But I mean, in looking at this guy, he's got different speed. I mean, it's like guys are fast, but this guy is just different. Raheem Mostert also. I mean, are we at a point where both of them are just absolute start them no matter what?
I think this game is going to be really tough for Mostert. Like I said, Buffalo has a pretty solid front four, and it's going to be tough for them to get the ball up the middle. They're going to have to get into the outside. I think that's more Achane. I think that's what he wanted to be called, right? Achane? that's more his lane, is outside zone sweeps, things of that nature. And I think they're going to kind of use Mostert up the middle. So for me, Mostert is kind of a sit. Not to mention Achan out-touched Mostert last week. I didn't quite get to watch the game, so I didn't see the splits as far as, you know, if it was kind of garbage time, or if they legitimately feel like Achan is the better back in that backfield. But definitely something to monitor. I think I'm going to sit Mostert and start Achan this week, and yeah, I'm monitoring it from here on out.
Oh man, I really find it hard to sit either one coming off of 4 touchdowns, especially when you got a big over under. I mean, I could see what you're saying. I mean, it was, the numbers were pretty split. That Mostert still, he was on the field more. He ran more routes, and so I mean, he was definitely good, you know. I mean, it was definitely very much involved. Yes, in the final, it looked like he was on the field for more snaps too. So that has me thinking that it's still kind of an even split. And I kind of look at this backfield a little bit similar to Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, where it's like, you know, you're just set it and forget it. They're 1 and 1A. I think for the time being, until you know, unless it becomes Achan is kind of like a 10 touch kind of guy, with Mostert being the alpha. But I think it's very much that guy. I want to go to the other side. Stephon Diggs. I mean, obviously we're starting Josh Allen, of course. Yeah. Stephon Diggs. I mean, he's. I think this is a great matchup for him. Xavier Howard will be on him sometimes, but Diggs is Diggs. He's going to get his. Gabriel Davis, are you starting him?
Oh, it's tough. I've never really been big on Gabriel Davis, but they're gonna have to get the ball in the air outside of Diggs. They're gonna have to. I think I think this is the matchup to start Gabe Davis. This is going to be the highest volume they'll probably see all year in the passing game. So yeah, Gabe Davis is a start for me.
No, absolutely. And the Dolphins right now with no Jalen Ramsey, I think they could I think they could be beat. I mean, they're going to give up some points, and this is gosh, this is going to be such a fun game. Keep an eye on the tight ends. I think Dawson Knox has a history of doing well against the Miami Dolphins. I'm looking up his numbers real quick right now from the past, and I mean,
I think this is a game for Kincaid this week. I think Buffalo is going to try to do some different things on offense. They're going to have to put up more points than usual to keep up with Miami. Kincaid makes them a little bit more dynamic. Dawson Knox is very good, and he has had a hold on that tight end position for quite some time, but the snap percentage is going down every week. Week 1, he had 84%, week 2, 71%, and then last week, 60%. So I'm interested to see kind of how those splits work out this week, if it continues in that trend. If Dalton Kincaid can see 60% of the snaps, I think he can see himself, 5 or 6 targets this week, and he could really do some damage.
Yeah, I mean, with a lot of throwing. James Cook, I think we're obviously starting him. Wouldn't it be great if if he would score a touchdown?
Oh man, I like James Cook. There's nobody on either team I really want to sit. I want to play everybody.
I definitely want that. That's why I love this game. I mean, with a 53.5 point over under, it's nothing short of. I mean, this is just it's caliente. It's caliente.
Yeah, everybody has touchdown upside this week.
Oh, love it. Okay, so you're picking you're picking the Bills 53.5. Are you going over?
50, yeah, give me over on that.
Oh, love it. All right, well, you know what? You've got on the background there, got the Cooper Cup, got the Rams cap. Rams at Colts. Had to put this game on there. We definitely got kind of like a shot of reality with the Rams offensive line with a couple injuries. I mean, Matthew Stafford was definitely he was having to get rid of the ball quickly, running for his life a little bit. Now it's still a good Colts front line, and it's in Indianapolis, which can kind of is kind of tough. Is that a concern for you this week?
Oh, the O-line is always a concern in LA. Definitely concerned. That's really the biggest factor for me in determining who's going to win this game and who's going to perform well. Is it's his Rams O-line versus this Colts D-line. Colts D-line is solid. They're not special. They're not great, but they do get to the quarterback at times. So, that's definitely something I'm monitoring, and hopefully Stafford can get back to, his week 1 glory.
Yeah. And even a little bit of week 2 where, with, being able to kind of go toe to toe with the 49ers.
Yeah. He was solid in week 2, 55 attempts and 34 complete, over 300 yards. And somehow he was only a QB, 22? It's the interceptions, because he's getting pressured and he's making mistakes under pressure. So if the Colts get pressure, expect Matthew Stafford to possibly make a mistake or two this game.
Yeah, and the Colts did give up some, give up 384 yards to CJ Stroud in week 2. This game, like we mentioned, it's in Indy. It's going to be a good one. I still think that I remember, before the season, James Boyd of the Athletic told me how much that secondary is young for the Colts. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that he's able to exploit that. I hope he gets some time to be able to throw, because Puka Nacua is the real deal, isn't he?
Yeah. I love Puka Nacua. When Cooper Kupp comes back, I do expect Kupp to take over that alpha role. But I don't see any reason Puka can't be a solid wide receiver too for fantasy teams. I still think he can manage, 7 to 8 targets a game, and Kupp still gets his 10, 11.
Oh yeah.
So I think buying in at his price right now will be very good for fantasy managers.
And what a revelation about Tutu Atwell, isn't he?
Oh, I mean, I did not see that coming at all.
Did not see that coming. I was thinking like Deshaun Watson of a couple years. I mean, Deshaun Jackson a couple years ago, just take a couple of shots. But man, he's getting targets. I mean, he's had 3 solid games in a row. Scored a touchdown last week. Got 119 yards in week 1. Are you approaching, like maybe like a flex play every week with them, or at the very least this week?
Until Kupp comes back, yes. I think Sean McVay will find a way to get this guy the ball in open space, and to let his speed go to work, because that's what he is. He's a speedster. He can beat you deep, or he can beat you around the edge. And Sean McVay finds a way to get his best players the ball in great situations. So absolutely. He right now he's getting a lot of snaps. He's seeing 85. I think his lowest snap share was week 1, and he got 79%. He's put up at least. Oh, I got Scott Fishbowl up. I'm trying to look at his fantasy points real quick in a normal non-Scott Fishbowl league.
Yeah, where it's not. Oh goodness, where it's not crazy.
All right, he hasn't put up less than 10 points in a game so far. He's been the wide receiver 15 and 14 in, standard or half PPR fantasy leagues. Over 100 yards, I believe. Just under. Yeah, 70 something yards. His over under for rushing and receiving yards this game, I believe, is 59. I'm smashing the over on that. And it's going to be a good one. I'm really intrigued to see how many different ways Sean McVay can get his playmakers the ball.
I really think so. Now, with the Colts having a pretty good front 7, and they've been better against the run, outlook on Kyron Williams this week. I mean, I think he's definitely a start, but I'm kind of looking at the fact that he's going to be a little bit more of a threat in the passing game this week than in the running game. What any thoughts on your side?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't think we're going to see a lot on the ground for Kyron Williams. I just don't believe he's that talented of a running back. And also, this Colts defense is pretty solid against the run. They're allowing about 100 yards. They're actually, I'm sorry, they're 16th. So they're directly in the middle of the pack. And without any particular special talent running the ball, I just don't see him having that great of a game. He's going to be really matchup based throughout the year. But I think he can definitely see some passing work. Last week he had, man, where is he? So many Williams in the NFL.
Oh yeah, I just had it. Hold on, I just had a note with him. Let me find it real quick.
Here he is.
Last week he caught 2 balls for 27 yards.
But he had 7 targets, and the week before that he had 10 targets. So I'm going to follow the volume on this. I'm going to start Kyron Williams and just hope he can be a lot better in the passing game.
No, I agree. Anytime you got a running back that's getting anywhere more than 5 targets in a game, start him. Play him all day. Now, at some point, does it feel like the Rams are going to need to get him some help back there? Because as good as he is all around, I mean, he's a little guy.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to if they want to compete. I think they're kind of just seeing how the season goes. If we continue to have a solid record, which it looks like we will, honestly, just based on who we got. I projected us to go 1-4 to start the season. Looks like we can go 2-3. And then we got Arizona, Pittsburgh, like the whole middle season, week 6 to about week 12. We played Dallas at week 8, but every other game we could win. It's really a winnable game. We got Arizona, Pittsburgh, Green Bay, Seattle, who we already beat at home, and then Arizona. So if the Rams can hit that winning streak, look for them to make a trade or to sign a free agent. Leonard Fournette is still available. There's still a couple of guys available that can help out this team.
Playoff Lenny. Adios mio. That one's in a Rams uniform. Let's go to the other side right now. Right now it's looking like Anthony Richardson is trending toward playing. Mm-hmm. So what have you? I mean, you're a big dynasty guy. What has been your early thoughts on him?
Oh man, he has impressed me a lot. Actually, I was very much out just due to his passing profile in college. He wasn't a great passer, thrower of the ball. His whole shtick, I guess, was being able to run the ball. But he has really impressed me. He's completed. I think he's got a pretty solid completion rate.
He's up over 60%.
Where is his game?
Because I think he was down around 53%. He was down around 53%, and he he's up.
Here he is.
I'm getting that number 2.
Well, in his full game, he completed 24 of 37 attempts for 225 yards, give or take. And it was just really solid. I didn't expect him to be that well rounded as a passer. I know they brought in, the head coach who's kind of a quarterback guru, and it looks like he's doing his job, and I'm buying in. As long as he has that rushing upside and continues to stay healthy, I would start him. The Rams do have a pretty solid defense. Quietly, we have a top 10 defense in the NFL. But the rushing upside of Anthony Richardson, I think you got to start him.
Yeah, he's just so ridiculous. I think he's definitely a must start. Great play in DFS, fairly cheap play in DFS. So the Rams are giving up some yardage. So which, hey, you know what? We love that for fantasy. So they'll give him some points. They haven't given up 300-yard passer yet, but they have not seen a runner like this physical specimen. So I think he's ready. Yeah. I love the connection he already has with Michael Pittman. Pittman has been just I think he was a guy that I was pretty low on coming into the season. I think he's I think he's looking really good. He's far and away leading them in targets. He's got 11 targets in every game, 34 on the season. Just a smash play for you.
Oh, absolutely. These these Rams cornerbacks are really they need some work.
They're young. They're young.
Yeah,
But
I
hey,
mean, surprisingly, the Rams are 7th in the league in allowing passing yards per game. They're only giving up 181 yards per game, but I just think the threat of Anthony Richardson is going to cause a lot of problems for them. They're probably going to go back to RPO type of scheme, the Colts, and that funnels targets to the wide receiver one. So I'm smashing Michael Pittman.
Michael Pittman. I don't know if I'm looking at any other receivers over there. I don't think anybody else has gotten good run.
I like Josh Downs. I don't think I'm starting him this week. I just feel like there's probably a few more better options available on this slate. But he's kind of asserting himself as a wide receiver too over there. He's had 7 targets, 5 targets, and then last week he had 12 targets, 8 catches, 57 yards. He doesn't have a touchdown yet, so he's kind of missing that. But as far as volume, I think he's kind of ascending into that wide receiver 2 role over there, and he can really help out some fantasy teams. So if he's on your waiver wire, make sure to check him out.
Yeah, especially with bye weeks coming up, we gotta start grabbing. He's a guy that really keep an eye on for some of these bye weeks coming up, because they're gonna have to score some points, because that secondary is gonna give up some points. So, all right, so let's. I'm gonna put you to the test right now. Indy is 1-point favorite. Who you got?
Give me the Rams. Give me the Rams to pull it out. I gotta go. I don't know if it's a homer pick or you know what, but yeah, give me the Rams. I feel like we're being very underrated this year, and it's really a much better team than I think a lot of people expected.
Basically, pick 'em game.
Yeah, as long as Matt Stafford can stay healthy, give me the Rams. I think if the O-line can pull it together, we can really put some points on the board.
Yep. How about 46 over under?
Give me the under.
I could see that. I think they'll be. It's one of those ones where it's like 24-20 kind of game, or 24-21. It'll be right on the number, but just below. Below. So
I think with Anthony Richardson coming back from he was in concussion protocol, correct?
Yes, correct.
So I think he'll be a lot more weary running the ball. He's going to be a little more just a little more head on the swivel and more cognizant that he's not going to try to take those hits. So I don't think he'll break as many tackles, and it just won't quite work out for the Colts this week.
It's gonna even at home, it's gonna be tough. Steelers at Texans. Not a game that I think before the season we looked at as being potentially a fun game. But man, let's start with the Texans right now. CJ Stroud.
Love him.
Yes. Has he surpassed your I mean, since, like I said, going back to the fact that you do a lot of dynasty work, has he surpassed what you could have imagined with him?
Well, he surpassed my year one expectations. I did expect some growing pains. What I did not expect is Houston to be a top 10 passing offense. I didn't expect that. I didn't see that coming by volume. Attempts, yards, they're number 6 in yards right now with 271 yards a game. And I didn't expect these receivers to be good. Tank Dell he's a weapon. Robert Woods is a security blanket, and Nico Collins he's been solid and he's been healthy. So that's really been Nico's hit for most of his career, is just the inability to stay healthy. So the Texans have surpassed my expectations for this year so far.
Oh, absolutely. I think Tank Dell, I put him into a DFS lineup today because he was cheap. I think he was under $5,000. So, and the Steelers have gotten beaten by wide receivers, and they've given up some yardage this season. So, I mean, it is not. I mean, their front seven with TJ Watt has been is still formidable. But they've given up 2 games over 100 yards to receivers, and another game Amari Cooper got them for 90 yards. So I think somebody's gonna get them, and it could actually just be Tank Dell, because I think for the Texans to get through, I think they're going to have to pass the ball in this game. The Steelers are still pretty good, and it's been a tough show for Dameon Pierce. So I wonder if it's there could be a split in the backfield. Are you starting either him or Devin Singletary with any kind of confidence this week?
Not Dameon Pierce. You can't start him with confidence. For me, this is going to be about the wide receivers for Houston, and I think it's going to be about the running backs for Pittsburgh.
Absolutely. I think, well, let's talk about the running backs for Pittsburgh. Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren. It's looking like a timeshare now. I'm taking the egg off my face because I put Najee Harris as my guy, because I thought getting him in the 3rd round, we were going to get 1st round value because of past volume, but it's not happening. So I'm not ready to take the L, but I think I'm a little worried.
So I'm actually writing start sits right now for Dynasty Football Factory. I'm running their whole start sit column. And so you mentioned, just real quick backtrack, you mentioned Tank Dell. He's one of my starts. Pittsburgh's giving up the 5th most fantasy points to wide receivers, and both Pittsburgh running backs are starts for me. They really haven't been good running the ball, but the Texans have allowed 7 rushing touchdowns through the season, and I don't know which one it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be Najee. I don't know if it's going to be Warren, but one of them will score a touchdown this week, and I will put money on that.
I love it. I hope it's Najee, but I'm not. I'm not banking on it.
When watching the Steelers play, it looks like the O-line plays better when Jaylen Warren is in the backfield, and it's such an odd thing to see, because I'm visually seeing it on TV, and I don't know if anybody else can see it. But this O-line, they're run blocking, they're protecting, everything is so much better when Jaylen Warren is in the game, and I just don't quite understand it. I don't know if Najee's lost the trust of the back or of the team or what. He's been hyper inefficient and pretty much getting targets out the backfield is his only upside. He just hasn't been very good.
No, it's been tough. George Pickens, though. I mean, this is the secondary. Derek Stingley, their top cornerback, went on IR. I think that's why I'm glad you picked this game, because I think this game has kind of like this game has shootout possibilities, playing in Houston in the Dome, where it's just going on the fast track. But George Pickens, are we looking at potential for a blast off game?
Yeah, I think we are. I'm really hoping Deontay comes back from IR, because he just adds a different dynamic to this offense. But George Pickens, he does not like Amazon at all.
Oh, I thought maybe he didn't like George Pickens.
Yeah, give me George Pickens. Probably 75 plus yards.
Yeah, 75 is exactly what he got against the Raiders last week. So, I could see that. Pat Freiermuth has been quiet, though. Could this be a good game for him?
It could, but I'm not banking on it. He just hasn't really been involved enough in the offense. He hasn't had more than 4 targets in a game so far this year, and it's touchdown dependent, and that's just not really my kind of game. So I'm sitting Freiermuth this week.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. The tight ends, and it's hard to sit any tight end right now, but man, he's just not seeing the volume. He is just not seeing the volume. All right, so we got Pittsburgh 3-point favorites. Who you got?
Man, I think I'm hopping on the Stroud bandwagon. I think I'm getting on board, man. Give me the Texans.
Stroud train, and 42 over under.
Give me the over. I think this is a solid chance for these offenses to get on track. Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm with you. I like the Texans this week. I think this could be a signature victory for them. So, all right, we're gonna go to another carnival game. Raiders at Chargers. So Jimmy G still in the concussion protocol. I talked with Dr. Edwin Porras earlier today, and he was he he says he's maybe 51% that Jimmy G is going to play. So you're not starting him, but if they have to play Brian Hoyer, are you downgrading Devontae Adams, or are you still firing him? I mean, you're never going to sit him, but
Right.
would you drop him down in rankings significantly?
I will drop him down, not significantly. I just think Devontae Adams is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Brian Hoyer is a seasoned veteran, and he knows what to do in the offense. And I believe Brian Hoyer played for New England when Josh McDaniels was the coordinator over there. That's why Brian. Okay, yeah, it's all clicking now.
Yep.
So he's a slight downgrade just due to the talent that they're losing at the quarterback position, but I think he's still going to be solid.
No, I think so. I'm going to give you a little, let you in on a little something. I actually we do convictions pick every week, and I said that Keenan Allen and Devontae Adams were going to compete for the wide receiver one on the week on the same field this week, because I think Keenan Allen with no Mike Williams, there's hardly any target competition. I know we like Josh, people are recommending Josh Palmer, but it's going to be Keenan Allen's going to get, at least 12, maybe 15 plus targets. And I think Devontae's going to get a ton of targets too. So that could be fun. That could be fun. Am I crazy?
I mean, it's not crazy. Keenan Allen had 20 targets last week with almost a full team, So I don't think you're crazy, but I definitely can see 10 to 15 targets for Keenan Allen this week. They said they're going to give more snaps to Quentin Johnston over there. So I'm interested to see who that wide receiver 2 is, but it's definitely going to be Keenan Allen, the wide receiver 1, and he's going to see a lot more work than – well, I don't want to say a lot more work than he's seen this year, but I think he keeps up the pace.
Absolutely. Are you? I mean, I'm starting Josh Palmer in this game. I think I want to see Quentin Johnston do something, unless injuries have hurt me to the point where I need to start him. Joshua Kelly, though, has not done well since that first game with Austin Eckler on the field. I know it's still a possibility that Eckler plays this week. I think it's the smart play for them to sit him because the bye is coming next week, but they're not asking me for advice. But if no Eckler, would you recommend starting Kelly? The Raiders are not that great on defense.
Yeah, they're giving up 127 yards. I don't really look at I try not to look at touchdowns too much, but they're just so unpredictable. But
yeah,
oh man, Josh Kelly has not been great. He's been actually really, really bad. If you have a better option, I would go for it. But I wouldn't feel bad about starting Josh Kelly this week, and I also understand not starting him. He's just kind of in the middle for me, just because he's not there talent wise.
I think he's a guy. He's a guy. He's not. He's. There's a reason why he has not been a starting player up to now. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Herbert, obviously, set it and forget it. You just leave him in your starting lineup every week and just enjoy all the points. He's the quarterback 1 right now. Gerald Everett, Donald Parham. Are you upgrading either one with Mike Williams being out?
I am. It's such a weird dynamic, this tight end room. Gerald Everett seems to see more targets. Donald Parham is one of the go-tos in the red zone. I think this is a great opportunity for him to see yet another touchdown. I think, he had 2 last week. 2 touchdowns 2 catches for 4 yards. Like that's where they use him. So if they get right there on the goal line, Donald Parham is getting the ball.
Yeah, he's a big guy. He's just that big
6'8".
guy. So Raiders, Chargers. The Chargers are 5.5-point favorites, 48.5-point over under. Be my guest.
Chargers cover. Give me the under on points.
Ooh, you think they're going to hold down the Raiders?
Yeah, I just this Raiders offense hasn't been great, you know.
Josh Jacobs. We didn't really talk about Josh Jacobs. It's been a rough start.
Nobody's really talked about Josh Jacobs this year. He hasn't had more than 10 fantasy points in a game so far. Granted, he's had some kind of tough sledding. He had Denver, Buffalo, and then Pittsburgh. So this is really the worst defensive line he's faced so far this year. I'm still starting Josh Jacobs. That's why you drafted him, for opportunities like this. But you don't feel good about it.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna have to be heavily involved in the passing game, because I think they're gonna be playing catch up a lot.
Absolutely. Oh, mi amigo, you're nailing it. All right, so let's go to Monday Night Football. Close it out on the players that we're because Seahawks at Giants, and you mentioned, it's kind of painful to talk about this one because being a big Ram fan, but the Seahawks are definitely a fun offense, fantasy offense, aren't they? I mean, Geno's doing what he needs. Geno's doing what he needs to do, and DK Metcalf. Kenneth Walker is good. I want to start with Walker.
Okay.
The Giants are not a good defense against the run or the pass. Could we be looking at a big week, maybe even a top 5 week for Kenneth Walker?
Yeah, I absolutely. He put up 30 points, 29 points last week against Carolina. I don't see any reason he can't put up similar numbers again this week. And I think it's going to be really interesting because it seems like they're trying to work Zach Charbonnet in there a little bit. He's increased his snap percentage every game so far this season, and they could see a pretty decent split of 60-40, 50-50 maybe. But I look for both of them to go off.
Yeah, it's gonna be good, but you got DK Metcalf, you got Tyler Lockett, their starters. Jackson Smith and Jigba, again, going back to you being a dynasty guy, a lot of people had him as the wide receiver 1 this season in rookie drafts. So you're looking at him, is he a start this week against the for you? Is he a start this week against the Giants?
No, he's not. He just hasn't really done enough with the work. In week 1 and 2, he got 5 and 6 targets respectively.
Yeah.
And he didn't even put up a top 50 finish in either of those games. It just hasn't been a good run for him. I think they're not really designing plays for him, and it just hasn't quite worked out yet. Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf are the unquestioned 1 and 2 in that offense, and you just got to sit and hold JSN for now.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, Buckeye Nation, it was Tim who said that about JSN, not me. Don't. I
love me some JSN. Don't stick him on me.
I love it. Okay. On the Giants side, if no Barkley, are you starting any of the running back? Are you starting Matt Breida, even with the volume, but against a Seahawks defense that has actually been pretty good this year?
I will actually. I will start Matt Breida, but not because of his rushing prowess or anything. He's a great pass catching back, and I think this game is one that we can see an over on. This is if Saquon doesn't go. If Saquon doesn't go, I will start Matt Breida. Yeah.
Oh wow! Any receivers you're looking at this week with the potential for against a team that against the Seahawks, who have been have I mean surprisingly last year they were very good against the pass. I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, they were good against the pass. You could run on them all day. This year, it's kind of like they flip flopped.
Yeah. I just you can't trust any of these Giants wide receivers right now.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah, they're all seeing, 4, 5, 6 targets in a game, but none of them are really consistent enough to really be anything more than a dart throw. Like, I guess if you have to play one, you're kind of looking at Jalen Hyatt because he's the deep play threat, and
My
he can
guy.
put up some major points in a quickness, but that's about it. But like, you don't feel confident
Oh
starting
no.
him. You know what I mean?
It's yeah, exactly. I'm estoy contigo. If you're starting Jalen Hyatt, you're just praying that he gets a
Yeah.
touchdown, that he gets you get that Danny Dimes throws a long one and gets a touchdown. So, by the way, I like Danny Dimes a lot better than Vanilla Vic. So, it's
I love it.
we'll see.
I like
Are you?
Danny Dimes' game too.
I was going to ask you. Yes, the rushing and the passing, right?
Yeah. Solid bounce back game. I think a lot of quarterbacks this week are going to have bounce back games. Guys like Burrow, Russell Wilson, and Daniel Jones. Like, I think they're all going to have some bounce back games. Um, the Seahawks defense isn't bad, but it's certainly not good. You
No,
know,
they've been beatable against the pass.
absolutely. They're a pretty solid run defense, but passing yards per game, I think they're bottom. Yeah, they're second to last. They're giving up 328 pass yards a game.
Yeah. No, it's start them and go. But yeah, start Danny Dimes and just enjoy the points. So I thought it'd be fun if we just kind of run through the games real quick and just pick them against the spread. You
All
got
right.
Atlanta at Jacksonville with Jacksonville 3-point favorites. And I'm gonna let you go first. You're the guest.
Oh, um, give me Atlanta.
+3, huh?
Yeah, Jacksonville has been pretty disappointing this year, all things considered, and
Oh,
they just haven't quite put it together on offense.
oh yeah. By the way, this is a London game. I messed up. So yeah, this is not in Jacksonville. So it's going to be a London game. So very interesting. So the Jaguars actually playing back to back London games. So they're going to stay out there. So maybe they'll come back with a British accent. I am. You know what? I'm gonna go with the better quarterback. I think Trevor Lawrence, aka Fabio Football, is going to be the difference in this game. So I think they're going to cover barely. Let's go to the battle of the bad. 0-3 Denver, 0-3 Chicago Bears. 3.5-point favorites are road favorites for the Denver Broncos. Are you taking that one?
I am. Give me Denver. They
Ooh.
got absolutely embarrassed last week. This is the pretty much for me. It's the last chance for Sean Payton to show he's still a viable NFL coach, because it's not just on any player. Like, this is the
Right.
coaching staff that needs to get their team prepared. Yeah, give me the Broncos.
You know what? I'm gonna maybe it's because I have so much Justin Fields and I'm kind of wishing it. I'm
Mm.
going to take the Bears, the +3.5 at home. I think at some point the Bears have to unleash him and let him run and just kind of become a carnival ride player. So I'm going to go the 3.5 there. So
I respect it.
maybe I'm local for that. May call me local for that one. So let me there we go. I had to take off the Seahawks Giants. Okay, Baltimore at Cleveland. Cleveland is a 1-point favorite, so this is basically a pickup game. That defense, both defenses are great, but
Yeah,
that Cleveland defense is
it's
really
something else right now. Give
oh
me
so
give me the Raven, or give me the Browns. I'm sorry, I just don't think this Ravens offense is experienced and explosive enough to really be able to give problems to the Browns.
Yeah, I think on the road for Baltimore, it's going to be a tough one. Keep an eye on Deshaun Watson's playing status. So
Oh yeah,
we'll go with
shoulder,
that one.
right?
Yep, shoulder. Again, go to the injury prone podcast too. So Edwin talked about that. Cincinnati at Tennessee. You just talked about it. Bounce back game for Joe Burrow. Negative, two and a half point favorites. You liking Burrow? I take it you're liking Burrow and the boys.
I do. This Tennessee defense is very beatable in the air, and I believe for the last 3 years or so, they've been the
Yep.
top rushing defense in the league. I'm sitting Joe Mixon in one of my leagues. Like it's not worth it. Yeah, give me the Bengals and Joe Burrow.
Yeah, they're going to throw. They're going to throw. I think the Bengals are going to cover. It's a nice road cover for them. All right, so going to Nolans, Tampa Bay at New Orleans, 3.5 point favorites for the Saints, with Jameis Winston expected to be the starting quarterback. Can you give up those points?
Yeah, you said what was the spread again?
3.5. New Orleans with a Jameis Winston.
Yeah. Give me the Bucks to cover.
Yeah,
the Saints are going to win, but give me the Bucks to cover.
It's going to be a field goal game. This is going to be the game where the hook, they win because of the hook. So you cover because of the hook. All right. Another game with a hook. Washington at Philadelphia, 8.5 point favorites for the Eagles.
Eagles cover. Eagles cover. This Washington defense is pretty solid, but there's just nowhere near enough offensive firepower.
Yeah, and I don't think Washington, Washington. We saw what Washington does against an elite offense, and last week, and I think it's an elite offense and another home game. So another away game for them. So I'm with you. I think this could be a big win for the kind of like a 35-10 kind of game for the Eagles. Another game. We don't know about the status of Bryce Young, but it's Minnesota. It's another battle of the winless teams. Minnesota 0-3 at Carolina 0-3. Minnesota's 4.5 point favorites. Are you taking the Vikings in this one?
I am. JC Horn. I believe he's
looks like he's trending to be out.
Yeah, JC Horn's out. The Panthers have Adam Thielen. He's been solid, but outside of that, it's running the ball for them. And this Vikings offense is just going to put up too many points for the Panthers to keep up.
I think you're right. I don't think Bryce Young is there yet. I mean, I like him long term, but he hasn't made the strides that Stroud has done, and that was not intentional. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think the Vikings get their first win and they cover the rare road cover because that's over 3 points, but I think they win by a touchdown. I think they're just a very good offense that has had some bad luck losses. A few more games. New England Patriots at the Cowboys, 6.5 point favorites for the Cowboys. Are you going to fall for that? Are you going to fall for that line?
Absolutely not. Give me the Patriots to cover. This Patriots has the top 5 defense in the league. Dak really hasn't looked that great this year. They had a lot of trouble with Arizona. Yeah, give me the Patriots to cover.
Yeah, they make the games ugly, and that's why it's going to be. I think Dallas wins, but it won't be a high scoring game, and it'll just be. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm with you. I think it's going to be Patriots in the cover. Okay, last 2 games. Arizona at San Francisco, 14 point favorites for the 49ers.
Yeah, give me Arizona to cover.
This
49ers team is pretty good. Arizona's better than we expected. Josh Jacobs has been better than we expected. Their defense has been better than we expected.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. This 49ers team is probably going to win by about 10 points, but it's a divisional game. They're always going to play each other tough. I think it's going to be a little closer than 14.
I can see it. I can see it. I'd still take the 49ers because I think I think their defense is so good that they're going to shut down the Cardinals this week, and it's not going to be pretty. Last game. Do we call it the Taylor Swift Bowl? Kansas City at the Jets. Sunday night football. She lives in New York. So you gotta figure it.
Are you aware that they changed Travis Kelce's picture on Sleeper to Taylor Swift?
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
That's a real thing.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's to steal one of her song titles. It's gorgeous. One of my favorite Taylor Swift songs, by the way. So my daughters, they've heard me sing the song way too many times. I mean, this one.
What was the spread again?
8.5. 8.5. But can you? I mean, can you expect these Jets to score any more than 10 points?
No, not confidently. They're like. Yeah, give me the Chiefs to cover that one. This Jets are going to have a tough time this year if they don't bring in another quarterback. Their answer was to bring in Trevor Siemian, I guess, to boost the morale of Zach Wilson because they're not going to play him, So it's more of like a confidence boost. But Zach Wilson just isn't good. They're not going to get anything going on offense because everybody knows they're trying to run the ball.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't see. I think I hate road covers more than 7 points. Like I didn't want to touch the Dallas game last week. I would have picked them, but I would not have bet on the game. But yeah, a road cover 8.5 points, it's tough. So, but I mean, they're just not going to score that many points. And I think Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, they're going to do it.
God. And how do you stop Kansas City from getting 24 points?
Yeah.
A fully healthy Kansas City, how do you stop 24 points? And the Jets are not going to be able to put up that much.
Yeah, the Chiefs are very good on defense. So I don't see it. I don't see it. So I'm with you. The Chiefs cover, and it's gonna be it's gonna be the most watched Sunday night football game because all of Taylor Swift Nation is gonna be on just in a tizzy as to whether she's gonna be at the game. So
they're still trying to figure out who Travis Kelce is.
There's some fun TikToks out there about the two of them, and it's like I let's just say that I'm very scared of I would be very scared of Swiftie Nation if I were Travis Kelce because it's oh my goodness. Oh, mi amigo, this is awesome. I always have fun spending time with you, but all good things must come to an end. Mi amigo, please pump anything you got coming up.
I'm running a roster cloggers weekly article with the FF League winners. My start sits weekly coming at the Dynasty Football Factory. And then right now, coming soon, hopefully in the next month, I'm running a deep dive on the 2024 wide receiver class coming out. This is going to be a great class, probably one of the best we've seen in a very long time, headlined by Marvin Harrison Jr. But there's a lot of other guys that really have high-end wide receiver 2 potential. And I'm really excited about that. So check that out and shoot me a follow on Twitter and see when it's coming out.
Yeah, for those of you listening at FF_Reez, REEZ. So give him a follow, mi amigo. Un gran placer. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. Make sure, again, you're following us on Familia FFB on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Get in there and come back for more. We're gonna have more guests. Also, want to give a shout out to the Cookout group. So Tim and I are both members of the Cookout group. Please give us a follow. There's gonna be some great stuff coming. Great stuff coming. I'm Jorge Martin. You can find me at Jorge Martin 17 on Twitter. Again, you're gonna find I've got weekly content coming out on Yahoo. So be on the lookout for that. But right now, good luck in week 4. Buena suerte, and remember, todos somos familia. Salud.